Hello and welcome everyone. We have a really exciting workshop presentation for you here today. I'm glad you've made it. I am your host, P. James Holland, also known as Coach Comeback, Life Reinvention Specialist. And today we're going to walk you through a system a very special guest has been using for himself, very successfully building his own business less than 90 days from scratch, several times over. This isn't something that only works in one specific industry. He's going to show you how you can do this in your own situation, no matter where you are in the world right now, to have a full running, zero risk business. No, we're talking no risk whatsoever, no large investments, no time constraints. Right where you are today, by the end of this call, you will be able to have the skills you need to start your own business and get out of the rat race and ultimately become your own boss. So we've brought in the expert who has been doing this clear across the other side of the world to bring you this presentation. Also, if you hang on all the way to the end, we're going to make a very special extra added bonus for people who stay all the way to the end, and the opportunity to help get your own system set up for free. Now, we have a lot that we're going to try to cover in a very small time, so we're going to try to get to as many questions as we can, but please hold your questions to the end, and hopefully we can get to them. And if we don't, the opportunity at the end to be able to speak with us personally, you'll get information on that. Hopefully that'll help. So without further ado, I want to give you to the Build Your Own Business, Own Boss expert. Who's going to show you how to build your own system starting in as little as 90 days. I'll turn it over to you, Gareth, our regional business building expert. How are you doing, Gareth?
I'm great, thank you, James. Thank you very much for the kind introduction.
All right, hold on. It's going to be exciting. Let's go ahead and get them into the system. Let's get going.
Absolutely. Oh, guys, thanks very much for tuning up. I want to take you through how to be your own boss in 90 days or less with absolutely no risk. Discover how you can become your own boss and enjoy more money and more free time with less work in 90 days or less with absolutely no risk. And I'm going to show you this in 3 easy-to-follow steps. So if you'd like to grab a pen, turn off all your distractions, I want to show you a quick 3-step formula that's working really well for me and has worked every time I've taught it. I'll wait for you to grab a pen and turn everything else off because you're going to want to take some notes. Okay, guys, this webinar is for you if you want to start your own business or you already own a business and it's just not working for you. What are the reasons people want to start a business anyway? You could be sick of long hours, tired of the long commute back and forth to work. You're not being paid what you're really worth, and that's very difficult to basically work out, because if you're working for an employer, they have to make a profit on the work that you're actually doing for them. So they need to take your cut, their cut. So you'll never actually get paid what you're worth by working for somebody else. You might have a stupid boss. I've had a fair few of those myself. Endless bureaucracy, especially with large companies. Incompetent co-workers, not pulling their weight, not doing what they should be doing. You might just not be passionate about what you do for a living anymore. So how would you like a business that has the right structure to suit your needs, that you can start quickly and will become self-sufficient within 90 days, fully operational and generating positive returns inside 90 days? You can scale to any size you want to, or keep it nice and small, it's up to you. It has no risk at all to you. Has no risk at all. So what does that actually mean to you? Would you start a business if you had absolutely no risk at all? I'm not talking about taking a massive loan and trying to follow what I'm about to show you. I'm talking about zero risk. Hardly any investment needed whatsoever. Every business I've started and every one of my clients that I've helped start a business have started with less than $1,500. The main reason people do not start a business is because of the risks involved. Once you remove those risks, there are no reasons why you wouldn't start your own business. How this webinar will benefit you. How to ensure your business idea will work before you even start, which is obviously really, really important. You don't have a business idea? Well, I'll show you where to find one then. Most people do have a business idea in the back of their mind though. How to make your business virtually immune to failure. Know how to structure your business so you own the business doesn't own you. And finally, get the confidence and the knowledge to be able to start your own business and to be your own boss. But why is the structure of your business so important? Well, 80% of new businesses fail in the first year, unfortunately. And on top of that, over 90% of new businesses fail in the first 3 to 5 years. No wonder people don't want to start a business anymore. How to start a profitable business in 3 easy-to-follow steps. First one, research and planning. You make sure it works before you actually start your business. Action. You start your business. You start trading. And then you make sure that your business is self-sufficient. In other words, your business pays for itself and for you. So you actually take a wage inside that 90 days, guys. At the moment, 95% of new businesses are basically started with the same structure. It's what I call an equity-producing job. You start the business and run the business. You start the business by being the employee. You do everything within the business. Now, the problem with this model is that it just doesn't work. Now, that's why 90% of businesses don't succeed. The structure just doesn't work. Most people want to start a business. 80 to 90%, in fact, of the population consider starting a business at some time during their lives. But most people don't, because they're worried of failure. They worry that it won't work. They're worried their business will fail. They're worried they're not smart enough. They don't have enough money. They've got enough idea, got enough education. They don't have the faith in themselves. Now, in the research, there are 2 big myths. The first one is that you have to have a better idea to start a business. The second one is you have to have a whole lot of money to start a business. So you have to have a better idea than what's already out there? BS. Usually, the most successful businesses are the ones that are the closest to what's already out there. If you come up with a new concept, you have to start by educating people on the new way of doing something. Look around and find a business that's already doing well and copy them. It's that simple. Do it better. You need enough money to buy or rent premises, stock, equipment. And then on top of that, you need another 2 to 3 years of salary. Wow. No wonder nobody even starts a business. If you start a business with thousands to pay every month before you've even started, I'm afraid the cards are stacked against you. So where do you go to find advice on starting a new business at the moment? Well, you have all of these great new business advisors. You have bank managers. You have accountants, government advisors. You can even ask friends and family. Now, the problem with these advisors, and I don't have any issue with any of them, is that they've been taught a certain way of starting a business, and the majority of them have never owned a successful business themselves. So how can they advise you on how to start a business in the right way if they've never done it themselves? They haven't been there and done it. Now, there is a massive psychological shift from employee to business owner, which is another reason why 90% of businesses fail in the first year. The reason being is that it's the traditional way that they're started. It's been ingrained into us to work for ourselves. We need to be the best at whatever we're offering. Speak to your bank manager, ask for a loan, and most of the conversation will be about you and what you bring to the business, not the business itself. If you don't believe me, ask for a business loan to start, for instance, I don't know, a plumbing business, as long as you're not a qualified plumber, that is. Now, the bank manager will most probably laugh at you for wanting to start a plumbing business without being a qualified and experienced plumber. The majority of people who start a business think they have to do everything. It's what I call the employee job, actually providing the service, the marketing, the legal side of the business, the hiring, the firing, the selling, the customer service, and on it goes. But you don't do all of these tasks as an employee. Why? Because you're not good at all of those tasks. Nobody can be. You may specialize, for instance, in sales or customer service or management. If you work in your business, who's working on your business and managing it? It's a question that's been debated by academics, venture capitalists, economists, and psychologists for centuries. Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? So let's look at the traits that they've actually put together. These are the top 12 traits for successful entrepreneurs. As a sophomore, Warren Buffett and a friend bought a used pinball machine for $25. Within months, they'd expended several-fold into a regular income. Now, how many people actually think like that? You do need to spend some money to make money. That is a true saying. But it's the amount of money that you need to spend. That all comes down to the actual risk level. $25, I wouldn't mind risking that to get Warren Buffett's money. Entrepreneurs are blessed with an unshakable belief in their own abilities. In my first startup, I had to sign a $200,000 personal full recourse note to get the company started. Now, if we hadn't started making money and quickly, I would have lost my house, my car, my savings, everything I had. Was this a smart move? Absolutely not. Not in any sane world. In fact, I didn't even tell my wife about this promissory note. Now, the budding entrepreneur delays their own gratification to maximize returns. If you want to see a failed entrepreneur, look for who's spending frivolously. Basically, what that means is they pump the money straight back into the business till a later date when they can actually start taking the money out. Now, I'm not saying I agree with all of these points, but these are what they've come up with as being the top 12. Entrepreneurs are never put off by obstacles. True entrepreneurs look for ways to make ideas work, while regular people focus on why they won't work. If entrepreneurs hit an obstacle, they mobilize and seek ways to overcome it. Regular people see it as an excuse just to give up. Entrepreneurs think of their own skills as an investment. Whatever time they put in should have the greatest possible return. Entrepreneurs have no problem with unanswered questions. What if the competition just copies my idea? Successful entrepreneurs are usually out of time, all of the time. There are countless horror stories about people who have a good idea but sell the company or intellectual property too soon to make any real money out of it. Entrepreneurs understand the idea of value. Whatever they do, they make sure the value created is larger than the cost of resources used. Successful entrepreneurs are absurdly conscious of the fact and tend to become highly organized, intolerant of inefficiency, and laser focused. In fact, many famous figures famously wear the same outfit every day, like Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs, claiming that anything else is an unnecessary waste of their attention. Authenticity is key, and to make smart gambles, to be a positive realist. I want to tell you a quick story. A young city fella wanted to start a stables. He spent all of his money refurbishing the farm. He wanted to get a horse. He went to see his neighbor, who had a horse farm. His neighbor agreed to sell him a horse for $2,000 to $3,000. The young farmer only had $100 to $200. The old farmer laughed in his face. He said, well, I've got one horse that I could let you have for $100, but she's really old and she's not going to be much use to you. The young man readily agreed. He just wanted to get started. The young man paid the farmer, and the old farmer agreed to deliver the horse into his farm that weekend. So the old farmer comes to the young farmer, knocks on his door, and explains that unfortunately the horse had died on the way over. So what would you do in this position, guys? Well, let me tell you what the young farmer did. He said, well, no problems, give me the $100 back. The old farmer says, no, sorry, it doesn't work like that. You paid me for the horse was yours. I held the horse for you for no charge and delivered it. The old farmer said, well, I'm not going to be a jerk. I'm willing to take the horse back and bury it for you. The young farmer thinks really quickly on his feet. No, in fact, actually, could you do me a favor and just drop the horse for me in the shed at the back of the farm, please? So about a month goes by, and the young farmer goes and knocks on the old farmer's door. He turns around to the old farmer and says, I'm ready to buy that $2,000 to $3,000 horse now. The old farmer says, well, how did you get hold of the money? The old farmer says, well, I sold the old dead horse I bought from you. How? Well, the young farmer said, I raffled it off. I put an advert in the paper saying, get yourself a horse for only $10. I sold 500 tickets. The old farmer said, well, wasn't everyone unhappy that the horse was dead? No, the only person who was unhappy was the winner, and I gave him his money back. Now, what does this have to do with starting a business? It's all about thinking outside of the box. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out and raffle off some dead horses, but I do want you to start thinking in new ways. At the moment, 95% of new businesses are basically started with the same structure. It's an equity-producing job, as I've already said. You start the business, you run the business, and you start the business as an employee, basically doing everything inside the business yourself. So I've already mentioned Warren Buffett. He started his business with $25. He's now worth $72.1 billion. This is a guy from the UK, Sir Philip Green, and owns a company called Arcadia. He's worth $3.88 billion. He started with a mere £20,000. The founders of YouTube, they started with nothing, zero, no money whatsoever. They sold their YouTube company to Google for $1.65 billion in 1.5 years. Absolutely phenomenal. Tony Robbins, he's worth $508 million. Started with nothing. In fact, he started with less than nothing. If you actually read any of his books, he was in a lot of debt when he started his first company. Mike Astley, Sports Direct, he's worth $3.75 billion. He started with £10,000. Sir Richard Branson from Virgin, worth $3.6 billion. He started with £300. Peter Hargreaves, $2.39 billion, started with 500 quid. Charles Dunstan, owner of the Carphone Warehouse, worth $1.49 billion, started with £6,000. John Hunt, owner of Foxtons, which is a massive estate agency in the UK, worth $1.07 billion, started with £100. So it is possible, guys. Absolutely possible. But we've been brought up to believe that whether a business succeeds or fails is down to you. You can't possibly learn enough to do all of the accountancy and employment law. People train for years and years to do that. You can't learn how to do that in a couple of weeks or even months. And most training, if you do go to these business advisors, is done on you as most training is done on the person, not the structure of the business. So they try to improve your skill set rather than looking at the actual way that you structure your business in the first place. But if you have the right structure for your business, you can start making money straight away. Do you want to start a business and work 18 hours a day with no benefits or holiday pay? Doing your own accounts, sales, marketing. Then earn less than what you actually would as an employee. Then on top of that, if your business isn't doing so well, you then have to pay your business just to keep it going, keep it afloat. People don't get into business for those reasons. They get into business to actually make more money and have more freedom. Now, I know business is very, very important and very serious stuff. But it can be a little stuffy. So I love what I do, but I also love having a laugh. So who says you can't do business and have a laugh at the same time? This is one of the funniest captions I've seen in a long time. Babe, I know what it looked like, but she was only changing my diaper. On the phone as well. Fabulous. So, what are the benefits of owning your own business? You make the money you actually deserve. We already talked about what you're actually worth. Very, very difficult how to actually mathematically work that out, because they have to make a profit from the work that you do. Wouldn't you rather be the one making the full amount? You might want to provide for your family the way that you have always wanted to, the way they deserve. You might want to pay off the mortgage and have a bit of security. What are those exotic holidays that you've been thinking about and dreaming of? Nice cars, nice houses, the hours that suit your lifestyle. Most important, having the time to enjoy life. Start building your dream, or someone will pay you to build theirs. And I know that this is a lot of information. And what's frustrating for me is that I have so much more information I want to give you, but I'm limited to what I can cover on this webinar due to time constraints. The way I teach this, you will work less hours than ever before once the business is set up. Your business will run without you. It will be self-sufficient. And what that means is you don't have to work the hours that most people who start business do. You can manage your business from Thailand if you want to, anywhere in the world. You can scale your business to any size you want to. It's quick to set up and, more importantly, become profitable. Like I do, you look forward to the few hours of work you actually do in a week. And this is just a taste of what I want to show you guys. So who am I? Well, I built a Subway sandwich business from nothing, and I mean nothing, no money at all, which is why I know so much about what bank managers think and say. I built it up to 3 shops within 18 months and a turnover of £700,000 per year. I started a blinds business that paid me £20,000 per year part-time from nothing, and I didn't do any of the work. I literally had a couple of fitters and a self-employed salesperson that did everything for me. I started a teeth whitening business that, again, I did none of the hands-on work and earned enough to pay my mortgage for a whole year. I started a cleaning business that I started in my spare time. It was going so well, within 2 months I gave up my full-time high-paying job as a sales manager to work it properly. I wanted a new car, and the kids were begging to go to Disney World. So I started a building and maintenance company and earned £14,000 in 3 months without ever touching a screwdriver or a hammer. I've taught this process to several people, a couple of which you'll see later on with testimonials. A friend of mine took early retirement only to discover he couldn't live on his pension, and his missus was doing his head in, basically. So he came to me and said, basically, have you got any work? I said, I have, but I'd rather teach you how to do it for yourself. So I taught him how to start a property building business, and he was profitable within 30 days. His startup costs were a massive $45. Another friend of mine lost her job, so I taught her how to start a cleaning business for less than $250. She's now the main breadwinner in her household and takes home over $80,000 a year without doing any of the cleaning herself. She's never picked up a feather duster. So, step 1. This is the actual process itself. You need to do your research. Once you've found a general business idea, you need to make sure it works. And you need to make sure it works before you start. You have to set up the right structure from the start. It's very hard to change once you're in the process. Ask yourself, what's the best structure for your business that allows me to start it for the least amount of money and quickly? That structure should lend itself so your business should be totally self-sufficient. It should be able to pay for itself and you within 90 days. I like to personally structure a business so it's self-sufficient within 30 to 60 days. It has to be scalable without spending a fortune. Now, most businesses in the traditional setup and the traditional structure, they can only expand by opening in a new location. Now, think about this. If you're in the business as the employee owner, it normally will never work, because how can you be in 2 places at the same time doing everything that you've normally been used to doing? You only can't be in 2 places at once. That's why most businesses are not scalable. You need to see if your business is in demand. Whatever you're doing, whether you're providing a service or product, is there a demand for it? If you've already seen a successful business doing something similar, the chances are that there is a demand already. They've already done the research for you. You need to choose the right structure type for your needs and your lifestyle as well, not just for the business. So where to find your big business idea if you haven't already got one? Have a look in your local area. Check out newspapers, read magazines, look on the internet. It's full of great information of businesses and business ideas. Blogs. What are your hobbies and interests? I mean, literally, if you're going to jump out of bed every morning and enjoy what you do, your hobbies and interests, if you can turn those into a well-paid business, you're laughing. What are your strengths? You know, what do you do for a living? What are your strengths outside of work? Well, my favorite is literally, as I've already said, you copy other successful businesses. And let me give you an example of that. A great example is Burger King. Burger King literally copied, they ripped it off completely, McDonald's idea. Having very fast food and the type of food that they're selling. Obviously, they made enough changes so they weren't infringing any copyrights, but they basically copied the idea. So the business model is to start a business without risk. You have to think outside of the box. You find a business model you don't have to pay upfront for any stock or premises. Therefore, you don't have any risk. And ultimately, you want to be working smart, not hard. So these are business models that I've made myself with zero risk. Excuse me. The first one is arbitrage brokering model. The second one is information marketing. Then you've got add-on selling. And finally, the consulting model. So have a look at each one of these in more detail. The arbitrage model. What you're basically doing is you're putting yourself in between the customer and the service provider or the manufacturer. You're the middleman. You find customers and you earn commission without any cost or risk. You don't need the knowledge that you're selling. So you could be selling, for instance, a solicitor's services. You don't have to be the solicitor yourself. You don't have to be a fully trained mechanic. You sell the mechanic services. You also don't have any of the costs associated with the traditional business model setups. Let me give you an example. I started a property maintenance business, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, etc. So I set this up without any previous experience in any of those trades. I would go out and find the customers. I would then find the tradespeople who wanted more work. I'd negotiate with the tradespeople for a slight discount in their usual rates. They were happy to agree because they didn't have to worry about advertising. Now, when I found a customer that wanted a new bathroom, for instance, to start with, I would take the tradesman with me so they could actually price the job up. I would then add on my 10 to 15% and provide the customer with a quotation. Now, traditionally, tradesmen aren't that good at that side of their business. They're great at actually doing the job itself, but they can't be bothered with finding new customers, doing the marketing, actually going out and speaking to the customers nicely, doing the customer service part of it, doing the nice quotation, following it up. They don't do those things very well, if at all. Once we won the job, we would literally just move on to the next job. So I would go out and find work for either another trade or for the same trade. You'd be surprised how many people would fall over themselves wanting you to find them work. Most tradespeople are not business people. They become self-employed because they enjoy actually doing the trade that they love. So they get to do what they enjoy, and you're making money by being the middleman. I'll give you another example, Walmart. They didn't actually buy their own stock when they first got started. They invited manufacturers and suppliers to put their stock into their store at zero risk to them. So if it sold, they made a profit, and so did the supplier. And the product owner was happy, they'd made a sale. If they didn't sell, though, they would just send the product back with no cost to them whatsoever, therefore no risk. What else can you apply this model to? Absolutely anything. From selling houses to accountancy and lots in between. Thinking of starting a retail shop? I know it's very expensive to start a business in this way. How about this instead? Let's take Subway sandwiches as an example. Why can't you find catering jobs for your local Subway store for a commission? The next step would be that you could utilize the downtime when the shop is closed in the night times. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting very excited. The only skill you need for the arbitrage model, though, is the ability to sell and negotiate. I'd love to go into a lot more detail about this, and there's lots more about it, obviously, and I'll try and expand on this at the end if we've got some more time, guys. So the second model that we discussed is information marketing. So if you've got any kind of creativity at all, you can turn your knowledge into an income. Obviously, you can do it as a web-based product, very low cost to start up, very quick to start up. If you don't have anything at the moment, my favorite is Learn, Apply, Teach. Now, Learn, Apply, Teach basically means if you don't know how to do something, you'll learn how to do it. Then you apply it, so you make sure it works. You make sure you have the proof to be able to show other people that it works. Then you teach other people. A lot of people miss out that middle apply. Everyone knows how to do something that people would be willing to pay for. You might be great at organizing, growing plants, how to take pictures, quilting. I mean, everyone has something. What's your hobby? I personally have a passion for jiu-jitsu. I love the martial art. I'm working on my black belt grading at the moment. Now, when I've achieved my black belt, I'll be setting up a membership site, and I'll teach as many people as they want to learn every week. So let's have a look at that. If I set up a traditional martial arts school, I could only teach up to maybe, 20, 25 people at a time comfortably. Now, if I take that online and open it up around the world, then I can just as easily teach thousands of people all at the same time. So if I charge $5 a week, say, for a lesson, that's the difference between $100, $125 a week to a traditional way. Then I would have costs for the premises, insurance, advertising, mats, and other equipment. If I can attract 1,000 people to my online classes, then I could be making $5,000 with hardly any costs. All I would need is advertising, hosting, and some video equipment. I actually have that's one that I plan to do, but I've actually started an internet business with absolutely nothing. $0, nothing at all. I went to a free seminar in London. We launched my product there live in front of the live audience and made $9,207 in 60 minutes. Not a bad start to my internet business coffers. So the next one is add-on selling. Most people don't consider this as a standalone business model. But what you need to start thinking about, like I've already said, you do need to think differently. How else can I make money? You're taught to focus on one idea at a time. What other opportunities are there out there? Get paid for incidentals. Window cleaning business is an example. When you're doing your rounds, you notice the customer's gutters need cleaning. Now you could do this yourself as an additional service, or you could sell a lead to a guttering cleaning company or individual. Or you could also contract somebody to do the service and earn the difference between the cost that you get charged and the price that the customer pays. This is easy to do as the customer is already happy with the service that you're providing for them. So they're happy for either a direct or an indirect recommendation from you. You could then go on to put an information product together on how to start a window cleaning business as an example. Can you see how exciting this is? Let's look at another example. I have a website and advertising business where I provide small to medium businesses a website creation service and full advertising done for you. When I'm speaking to new customers, they often want other services that I don't provide, such as telesales services. Now, I could say, I'm sorry, I don't provide that service, and that's the end of the conversation. Instead, I tell the customer I can recommend a great telemarketing company and earn commission from the introduction. The customer's happy because they're already paying me for a service that they're happy with, so they trust my judgment. The telemarketing company are happy because they have a new client they didn't have to pay to attract. The other way I can approach this is if I'm getting lots of inquiries, I could actually simply recruit a telesales professional and provide the service myself. The next model is borrowing. Now, if you absolutely have to have business assets, if you have to have business premises, this is the model for you. You find an already established business and use their facilities when they're free. Now, what I'm talking about, let me give you an example. Let's say a garage, for instance. A garage predominantly shuts its shutters at 5 o'clock. So that garage then is sitting there, not earning anyone any money. In fact, it's costing money from 5 o'clock until it opens the next morning at, say, 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you're a fully trained mechanic, or you pay and find a fully trained mechanic, why can't you turn around to that business owner and say, well, how would you like to earn a little bit more money? Can I hire your garage when it's in its downtime from this time to this time? I'll pay you so much, or I'll pay you a percentage of the business that I get for myself. That way, the business owner has another revenue stream. He has more money coming into the business for doing absolutely nothing more. It's a win-win situation again. If you need an asset, if you absolutely have to have an asset to run your chosen business, think outside the box. What's already available? What's out there? And I don't just mean physical premises either. You could be talking about equipment, for example, vans, lorries, taxis, plant equipment. Now, a very good example of this is I know a guy that I didn't have anything to do with it, but he couldn't afford his own taxi. He desperately wanted to run a taxi firm. He went out, he got his license, he couldn't afford his own taxi. So he turned around to the local taxi company and he started driving their taxis during the time that they weren't busy, which was during the day. It works with any hard asset at all. And most businesses have some sort of downtime. Now, I did this personally combined with the arbitrage model when I run my teeth whitening business. I would literally use the salon's facilities, and instead of hiring a room and having the risk of not getting enough clients in to pay the bills, I would literally give the salon owner a percentage of the revenue. This way, I only ever paid when I had a customer, so there's no risk. Also, the salon owner would talk to their customers about this great new service they were offering. I would then pay half of the fee to a person to actually provide the teeth whitening service. So I'd literally take a call from the salon owner to book in a client. That was my job done. I would then book the job into my subcontractor's diary, and I'd earn $50, $60 per new client, all for 2 or 3 minutes work. As you can see from this example, you can then scale this business very easily. All I need is more teeth whitening technicians and more salons to partner with, and I can scale this business to any size I want to. Again, what you're looking for is a win-win situation. The business owner wins. They're getting additional revenue that they wouldn't usually have had. You're winning because you don't have to find a massive lump to buy your asset in order for you to start your business. So the last model I want to look at is consulting. Do you have a skill or experience others would pay to learn? Could you negotiate with your employer to actually go from employee to consultant? Entrepreneurs think of their own skills as an investment. Whatever time they put in should have the greatest possible return. For example, creating software, leading others, spotting future trends. They are typically self-taught and diligently so. They work to make themselves the type of person who would be wealthy. So advertising. Why would businesses be happy to work with you like this? It's all down to advertising. Advertising to a business is cost with no guaranteed return on investment. And what you're proposing to them is a different way. Most businesses and business owners know they need to invest to get more customers. If you can provide them a better solution, when they only pay for new customers once they actually become a paid customer, why wouldn't they snap your hand off? There's no risk for the business owner. There's no upfront costs for the business owner. And they can then concentrate on running their business, not worrying about where the next customer is coming from. So that's step one. We looked at where you're going to find your business idea from if you haven't already got one. We've then looked at the different structures that you need to look at and choose which one is right for you and for your chosen business and your lifestyle. The next step, step two, is actually taking action. You need to start your business once you've done that initial research. You just need to take action. Starting the business is much about your mindset and confidence as any physical attribute. Sometimes you just need to stop planning and just start. So self-sufficient. So you've got your business idea, you've got the right structure, you've taken action, you've started doing some business. The next step for your business is to make it self-sufficient as quickly as possible. You don't want to start a business that you have to keep paying just to keep going. That's no fun at all. You don't want to work 18 hours a day and do everything within your business. With the right structure, your business will be self-sufficient in 90 days or less. Right, I've got a couple of testimonials I want to show you now, so hopefully the video sound will play okay. The first guy was very nervous doing a video for me. He's a behind-the-scenes sort of guy, but hopefully you'll be able to hear it okay.
I started a business in Scotland, for a number of years until I retired for a company called Hoover. Now I've never done any trade work at all, building or anything. I knew Gareth was quite successful in what he was doing, so I decided to ask him for his help. I knew he was doing well, and that he was making my business. Obviously, without giving me work, he set me up on starting my own company, which I have done. And at the moment, it's proved quite successful. Instead of giving me work, he showed me how to run this business very well. I'm now working a couple of hours a week, and in the beginning, I thought, is it a good thing that we were doing? And I can assure you it's proved very successful. I only work 5 or 6 hours, as I say. It took me about 3 weeks to start the business up. And then within about 30 days, I started to make some money. And this proved very well as well. And I can't thank Gareth enough for what he's done for me.
Okay, this next one, I'd just like to apologize beforehand. He decided to stop on the beach, so there's quite a bit of a wind noise, but hopefully you'll be able to hear it.
£1,000 a week. If it was up and running within a month, I was making a profit within a month. So just give it a system.
The value of having the confidence to finally realize your dreams and starting a business is absolutely priceless. I can't put a figure on it. but I know how much my life has changed since I started my own businesses.
Before you go on just a second, the sound is really, really low on both of those. If you could really quickly just briefly summarize what both of them said, just a few words, because there were some key things that both of them said, took 3 weeks to set up and within 30 days making profit, and the other one said $1,000 a week within the first month. But so I don't think people could really hear that. There's a lot of noise going on. So if you could just, again, just really quickly summarize your two experiences with them, in case I couldn't really hear it, that'd be a little better.
No problem. Okay, the first one, this is Ralph. Basically, he was the one that was very bored at home. He retired early from his job from a company called Hoover, and he comes to me for work. He wanted a job. I said, look, Ralph, I'd rather set you up in your own business. I don't actually like employing people directly. So I set him up in his own business, and he started a billing and maintenance business. He's not very handy. I don't think he owns a screwdriver or a hammer, and he's set up his business, and within 30 days he was making money. He was a very nervous person. He'd been working for the same company all of his adult life. I think he'd been there like 36 years or something. He's like 62, 63 now, and within 30 days he'd started making some money. So he was over the moon. He's actually earning now more than what he was earning in full-time employment. This guy, Nigel, he a little bit bored at home, but at the same time he had a full-time job. He was working 60 hours a week. He was really, really bored, and he wasn't earning very much money. Started him up in a cleaning business. Again, 3 weeks the business was up and running. By the fourth week the business was profitable, and he actually is now making more money than he used to, working 60 hours a week, and he literally is only working, I think it's 10, 15 hours a week, and he's earning £1,000 a week easily. Could be even more now. So that's those two. Okay, so the value of having the confidence to finally realize your dream of starting a business is absolutely priceless. I can't personally put a figure on it, but I know how much my life has changed since I started my businesses. So today I promised I would show you a zero-risk strategy to start your own business. That I don't know of anybody else that's teaching this, not to my knowledge anyway. Now, I fulfilled that promise, I believe. You don't need any loans, you don't need any credit cards. You choose the right strategy and you'll be ready to start your own business with virtually no risk at all. Today I promised also to show you how to start a business and become profitable in less than 90 days. I personally started a business and made enough £14,000 in profit in 30 days, literally. So I've definitely achieved that for you today. Today I promise a strategy that removes the risk and sets your business up the right way from the start. So it will be self-sufficient in the quickest time possible, virtually risk-free. And you can remove yourself from the business at any time, giving you time freedom as well. The 3 easy to follow steps, just as a reminder, you need to do the research and planning. You need to make sure it works before you start. And in doing so, you need to choose the right structure for your business and for your lifestyle. You need to take action. You have to start. You have to stop procrastinating and actually get on with it and start it. The best way of starting these low-cost startups and finding out whether it works is, first thing, like I've already said, is to copy the business idea from somebody else that's already working, so they've done all the work for you. And then what you need to do is actually test it. You need to start it and let the market tell you whether it works or not. Then you need to make your business self-sufficient as quickly as possible. I wouldn't ever want to start a business that I'm not going to see a return on for 3 years. I just get bored with it. I want the money for the effort that I'm putting in straight away as quickly as possible. Now, you do need to change your beliefs slightly. If your friends and family are not positive and supportive, then I would suggest not talking to them about this, especially if they've never run a business of this type before. It's the same as the business managers and the bank managers and the accountants. If they haven't run a business before, and that's my first question if somebody tries to give me advice, do you own a £1 million business? No, I don't want to know what you've got to say then. Thank you very much. So if you've been thinking about starting a business and just haven't done anything about it, this could be the most important decision in your life. Take action or stay the same as you are now. you need to take immediate action if you do want to start a business, then this is the fastest and most risk-free strategy you can implement. So everything I've gone through today, I've given you everything you need, basically, guys, to start your own business risk-free, or virtually risk-free, and in the quickest time possible. Now, if you have listened to this presentation to this point, then I know you're serious about starting your own business and becoming your own boss. So how can I help you? Well, my team and I have actually set aside some time next week to speak to you personally, one-to-one, about how you can apply these ideas to your very own business, whether you've got an idea or not, starting today. Now, what's that going to cost you? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. But space is very limited, obviously. But I will make time for you if you're serious and you're ready to take action. So why am I doing this? Am I just a nice guy? Well, your free business coaching call will go through where you're at the moment and where you want to get to, and most importantly, how you will get there with the least amount of risk and in the fastest possible time. Now, if we feel you're a good fit, we may invite you to become a new client of ours. We may. And I say that because not everyone will get through. I won't work with just anyone. You have to at least want to succeed. You have to have the hunger. So like I said, there's nothing to pay for you guys. So all you need to do is complete an application form, and we will both determine if this is the right decision for you and if you're the right fit for the Own Boss system. So if you'd like to discuss your future business in more depth, complete the application form, and that's located at ownboss.biz/go/application/. I will warn you though, the application's it's 9 questions long, and it's quite thought-provoking. So sit down and sort of take your time with that and make sure, because that will form the basis of the conversation that we have, which again, I'll remind you, is completely free. So I'll leave that up, but all I want to say is thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you on the inside, and I look forward to working with you very soon.
That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for putting this together and sharing your ideas and these brilliant ideas on creating your own business from absolutely nothing. I'm hoping right now your mind is spinning with all the different possible ways that you can do this, and they likely are. Because when we did this presentation a couple of weeks back, we were flooded with questions and comments and emails asking, will it work for this business idea? Will it work for this? Where exactly is the first step? How do I start? Do I need a large amount of money to get going? Can this work in my city? Will it work in my country? Which one is right for me? How many hours per week? And there was all these questions and ideas because people were generally excited about this. So that's why we decided to do this again for you live. And because of the same interest, we said we were hoping to get to all the questions as we could live on the call here, but that's why we did this again with this way. Gareth made it one step easier. Rather than just asking questions here and getting a response back, a short answer, trying to rush through it, you get one better. You have the opportunity to actually get on a call with us, and we will work out a business plan for you together. So if you're serious about this and you're ready to get going, then go to ownboss.biz/go/application, and you can actually reserve your spot and get on a call with us and answer any question you may have. So we're going one step above and beyond just simple questions because Gareth is the type of person that cares that you actually get this result. Don't want you having to go out there on your own and trying to figure this out, because that's, like he said, 90% of businesses will eventually fail if you're not following a proven, workable system that you already know is working. And by getting the guidance by someone who's already doing it and has reset this up for many, many others, you owe it to yourself to get this business set up and schedule your time for your call so you can get your own business going. And you can go at your own pace. You don't have to blaze through it like everyone else and get it done.
Oh, James, I don't know if you can hear me, but your sound's completely gone.
Oh, what about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's back.
Okay. I was saying go to ownboss.biz/go application and schedule your call. We will answer them and get your call, get on the phone, work out your business plan just as soon as we can. Like you said, we're going to go in the order received. So as soon as you finish your application, the sooner we can schedule your call. And remember, you don't have to go at this alone. You can do this for yourself and get started right away. So any questions you have, write them all down, save them, and we will be glad to answer everything for you on the call. By the time you get off the call, you will have a business set up and going. And he says they put 90 days. In all actuality, most people get their success way before that. But once you start saying, promises of what's really possible, like say you're going to be able to make, 25 grand in 30 days, people start to think it's unbelievable and don't buy it. So you have to kind of dumb it down a little bit. So it sounds like 90 days and you'll make a little bit, but in all actuality, if you pick the right business and you set it up the right way, which Gareth and I will show you on the call, you can very well make job replacing income and far sooner than you thought, and have the ability to scale up, which no job where you are paid by an hourly wage can offer you. In a regular job, the only way you make more money is by working more hours, not when you are your own boss. When you're your own boss, you can scale up by simply working smarter and implementing the strategies that Gareth is going to teach you for free on your call. So go to ownboss.biz/go/application today, and we look forward to speaking with you just as soon as we can. I hope you enjoyed this call, and we'll be talking with you all soon.